welcome to Hither and Yon Studio. And if you've been here before, welcome back. DJ here in the digital studio today. I'm going to do a video that I promised a little while back, and it's up in the key, so we're going to do it. Before I begin this video, though, I do want to tell you, in order to do a lot of what I'm going to do in this video, you're going to need a Canva Pro account. So if you don't have a Canva Pro account, now is the time you might want to get one. You decide, watch the video, see if it's worth it for you and how you're using your designs. I know that Black Friday is coming up at the time that I am recording this video, which is in early November. And a lot of times companies will have sales for their products if you buy an annual plan. So you may want to keep an eye on Canva through Black Friday, just to see if they're going to offer any deals. I can't promise that they will, but just something to keep in mind. I think if you buy it monthly, it's $12 a month. And if you're going to use this feature a lot, it might be worth the $12. So you have to weigh that against, your individual situation and the time that you want to invest in doing some of the stuff. Okay. Aside from that, the second thing I want to mention is that commercial licensing is a thing. And unless you have express permission from somebody that you purchased items from to manipulate their files, you shouldn't be doing that for commercial use. Now, personal use is usually a little bit more open-ended, but again, you're going to want to check the terms of the license for whatever it is that you purchased or are using, and keep that in mind as you do this, because manipulation of files is part of commercial licenses. So what I'm going to show you today is how to actually take, say, a set of ephemera, a page of ephemera, let's say it's a page of tags, remove the background so that you can upload it into your Silhouette and your Cricut and cut it out so that you don't have to do a lot of hand cutting. And when it comes to fussy cuts like flowers and butterflies and small pieces, this might be ideal for you, especially if you're somebody who suffers with arthritis or just, your hands get tired or sore. This might be an option for you if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette machine. You can just have this do the cutting for you. So if it's for personal use, you're not going to sell the items, this is probably okay. But again, check with the person whom you purchased the item from if you purchased it. Now, I use Creative Fabrica. And I'll put a link to my Creative Fabrica page down below for you. If you have a Creative Fabrica account for commercial use, you can use all of their files for commercial use, and you never have to worry about violating a commercial license. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you have a file that is for personal use and you are using my files for personal use, I give you express permission to use this process to fussy cut out whatever it is that I have provided to you. You cannot use it for commercial use unless you are within the terms of my commercial license, which I'll also put a link to down below. All right, let's get on with the tutorial. So what I'm going to show you is, like I said, how to take items that perhaps have a background on them, which sometimes makes it a little harder to cut in Silhouette and Cricut. I know you can do it, but I'm going to just show you a way to quickly remove the background, and sometimes that helps. And then I'm just going to show you some other ways you can use the files once you remove the background, and just some tips and tricks here in Canva to take care of some things if they happen, and how you can resize and things like that. So it won't be too long of a video, but I do want to cover a couple of things, so feel free to put me on double speed, do whatever you want to do in order to get through this video. You can pause the video at any time, rewind, go back, and watch it again. All right, so first thing I did was I came into Canva and I created a new design. So I did create a design, and then I chose 11 by 8.5. You might want to choose the A4 size, whatever works for you where you are and what you're able to print. All right, so I usually go with either 11 by 8.5 or 8.5 by 11, depending on what I'm trying to fit on the page. I went with this size, and then when I came in here, this was white. So when you come into a new file, it's white like this. And then you'll see up here, the background color has this little kind of rainbow color wheel. And if you just click on that, you can then go up here and put black. And I do black for a specific reason, because it shows a lot of artifacts and kind of digital hairs and just spots that you might want to remove after you remove the background. So that's why I always start with black. The next thing that I did was I uploaded the file that I want to use. So in this case, I recently gave you guys these mason jars and wildflowers in the Facebook group and on the Ko-Fi page as a freebie, but there's a white background on them. So we want to remove that white background so that we can then easily upload it into Silhouette and Cricut and have it cut it out. So we'll go through that process, but follow me here. Okay, so the first step is I put the page on the page, okay? And these are 8.5 by 11, so we can expand this out if we want. And then we're just going to go up here to this background remover. Now, this is a pro feature. In order to do this, you need to have the pro account. So, and we know it's a pro feature because it has this little crown. So once I have the page active, and by active, I mean you can see these bars. If it's not active, you won't see those bars. So I click on the page, it is now active, and I want to hit background remover. Okay, it removed the background, but you see down here, it took out some of the color of this particular flower. And so the reason it does that is because that color very much matched the background of this page, which was white, and it really was not sophisticated enough to not take that out. So I'm going to show you how to fix that if this happens. What you want to do is go up here to background remover again and double click it. And that will open up the background remover editing area. Now, this process is a process that uses up a lot of resources on your computer, even though Canva is in the cloud. And I just want to make you aware of that because things might move slow in here depending on how big the file is and what specifically you're doing. Be patient, work through it, and give yourself some time for editing. All right, I'm going to use this flower down here to demonstrate what I'm doing. And right now, the circle you see moving around the screen is the brush. And you can change the brush size over here. And I'm actually going to make this a much smaller brush. Let's make it 4. So you can adjust the slider, or you can just type in a number. And then up here you have an erase and a restore for the brush. And I'm going to use the restore because that's what we want to do. We want to restore the image. And so then I'm going to come down here with my brush, and actually let's make this a little bigger just for this demonstration. Okay, I'm going to come down with my brush, and where I want to restore the color, I'm just going to click and drag. Now you can just click around, but you can also click and drag. And up in these little smaller parts, you might want to make your brush smaller when you get up there. But as you can see, as I'm clicking around now, that color is coming back into the flower. So that's how you would restore portions. One thing to keep in mind here is that if you click over an image outside of the bounds of where you want it to be, this spot will restore the background, and if you were to upload that into your Cricut or Silhouette, it will cut around it, so it sees it as part of the image. If that happens, you can just go to erase and kind of erase that back out. Or what I like to do is, if I do it kind of like I did where it was just one big glob, I can go up here to this undo. I'm going to undo it once to take out that erase, and then I'm going to undo it again to take out that overspill that I did with my brush. So anyway, that's how you do the restoration. And then when you're done, just click this X and you'll get back, and you'll see those kind of came back. Now I see that it didn't take those bits out, so I'm not sure what happened there. Bear with me. All right, so let me just erase this out. Not that important for this video, but why not be a little cleaner? All right. Close enough. Okay, and you'll see as you do that, these will all restore and you'll have what you want. Okay, so now let's say I only want to use this particular flower to upload into Cricut Design Space. What you want to do is just grab this bar here on the side and kind of pull this over, and then we'll do the same thing here. And you can see why I'm using a black background now, right? You can see a lot of the hairs and overspill. If there's splashes or things like that, you might want to also continue to go into the background remover and remove them out. And black is the best way to show that, which is why I use it. Okay. These lines here, if you see them, these are artifacts. They don't really exist there. If I were to pull this over and back, you see they disappear. You have to be careful to recognize them because Canva will sometimes throw them in there. But anyway, at this point now that we've cropped it, we can resize it and make it as big or as small as we want. And there is a little spot in here that looks like it could, you know, use some background removal. So you might want to go in there and clean that up to you. But yeah, so that's kind of how you do that. Let's do this with this mason jars. I'm going to, again, I just clicked to put them on the page. So I had a new page here, and you can add a new page here, add page. You can duplicate a page up here. I just added a page, and it will add a page with the black background because it's mimicking what you did originally. All right, then I'm going to drop in these mason jars, and I'm going to hit the background remover tool. And you see it did a pretty good job. I would want to restore like this here. But again, I'm just going to take one of these. I'm going to take this blue one up top, and I'm going to use that one. All right, like so. And then if you want to make a bunch of these on the page, you can just hit this duplicate. So, you know, if you have a certain tag that you want a lot of, you can kind of crop it out and then duplicate it and make a bunch of them. These can be resized as well. And you can kind of play with cleaning them up or doing whatever you want to do. But what might not be apparent here as we're playing is that these are now transparent images. And so I'm going to delete a lot of these off. And if you were to put this on here and do a download, we're going to use a feature that is also a pro feature. And you would just do download, and then you would select the pages that you want. So I would, let's say I want just page 2 here. I would click this drop down, uncheck all pages, and then select page 2. And then I want it as a PNG file, which is important. And then I want to have a transparent background. Now you can also select this as an SVG if you want to use that. I think in one of the, I think either Silhouette or Cricut allows you to use SVG, but honestly, I find PNG and transparent background works best for both. And you see this is a pro feature. Now this is size to 8.5 by 11, which is going to be this whole page is 2000 by 1545 pixels, but you can kind of use this slider to make it really big if you wanted to. I usually just keep it at 1, and that suits my purposes, but you can play with this. It is going to take up a lot of memory or space on your computer, not memory, but space, storage space, the bigger you go. So if you go up to like a 4000 pixel image, it takes up a lot more space than if you have like a 2000 pixel image. Makes sense, right? All right, next I want to show you, and then you would just download, and then I'll show you how the upload works. So let's just download this real quick. I'm just going to hit download. It's going to kind of sit here. You see it's working, and then it'll pop up a window asking me where I want to save it. I'm just going to save it in downloads. Okay, so we have it there. It says untitled design. It's fine. I know what I'm looking for, and I can search by date, so that's fine. All right, so now, let's say you want to take this design and put it on another page. you can do that. So what I did here was I uploaded some pages from Creative Fabrica. And again, that link is below. These were just junk journal background pages, and they are for commercial use because I have that plan on Creative Fabrica, which is very reasonable, by the way. So you check it out. I know that's a relative term, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of designs on there for all different uses. So check it out below. That's my affiliate link down below. So if you go there and purchase, I get a very small commission, but you never pay more than you would if you didn't use my link. And it really helps support the shop and my journey here, so I can continue to bring you videos like this and freebies and things like that. So if you would use the link, that would be great, but you don't have to. You can just go to creativefabrica.com and start there. All right. So I got these on Creative Fabrica, and then all I did was drop this on top of it. And I know that maybe this color isn't great for this particular background, but good news, you can change that. So once you have put your image on the page, you can go up here and hit this edit button, and then that'll bring up some other options here on the left. You can add a shadow, you can blur it, duotone, you can play with all of these, but the one that I'm going to show you are these filters. So if we click on see all, we get a bunch of recoloring filters that will allow you to kind of change this to maybe something that's a little better for the page that you're using. So let's go down to this vintage here, and let's just hit antique and see what it does. Now that fits this page a lot better, in my humble opinion. We can also try nostalgia, which is also very pretty. Retro. Yeah, so you can play with these, and then if you change it, you can also kind of play with the intensity. So let's say you want to bring back some of the original image, you can kind of go in here and play with that and, see if it works. Some other tricks that I like to use are playing with the opacity or the transparency here. So if you click on the transparency, you can kind of bring this down, and if you watch the image, you'll see that the background is starting to show through under it. And this is very helpful if you want to have some elements show through. So see how now we can kind of see that line that's running through a little more, or some of these elements in the background will show through based on transparency. So this is a fun way to kind of blend images into your background. Okay. What else? I think that's it for in here. I just wanted to kind of show you those fun little things that you could do in here. There's a lot more, but this will get you probably 80% of the way. There are tons of things to do inside of Canva. I do hope that you'll, get in here and play around and use these for your projects. All right, so now we have downloaded that PNG file that we made into our downloads, and I just want to show you what we do in Silhouette Studio, and then I'll jump over to Cricut Design Space. So I have a new untitled project here in Silhouette. Let me just make this 11 by 8.5. I'm just changing the size of the base page. So this is the page where I'll add my PNG file, and then I'll show you how you do that for print and cut inside a Silhouette, and then we'll do it over in Cricut. All right, so I'm here on my blank page. I want to go to open for a file open, and then I'm going to go to my downloads. And now I'm on a Mac, so I can search by date added, and then I'll find my design that we downloaded. You will have to keep track of this on your own. I am not sure, the system that you're using or anything. So I will say just become familiar with your computer and where you store stuff. Maybe make a special file for Canva download so you can always find them. And then use naming conventions that make it easy to find, which I did not do. Okay, and then I'm gonna select the PNG that I want and hit OK. All right, and now it might be a little hard to see, but there is a red line going around this image, which is going to be my cut line. It's not going inside of the image because it's going and doing the outer edge. Okay. Now, generally, I will just run with this and I will let Silhouette cut it in this fashion. I'm just going to expand this and make it, I clicked on it and I'm just going to grab this and make it a little bigger because I do want to point out some things. Down here on the bottom, you can kind of see that we've, and I don't know how easy it's going to show, but we'll see it a lot better on the next step. But you can kind of see that there's like a little circle in here and there's like this piece that's just hanging out. If we were to cut this, it's going to cut around all this. And this is just going to fall away anyway. It's not connected in any way to this background. So this is what I like to do. Now, you can go back to your original image and erase this out using the background remover tool. But you're not going to be able to do that so much for these pieces in here. So in Silhouette, and I'm not 100% sure how to do this in Cricut, but hopefully we'll figure it out when we get over there. In Silhouette, I just go over here to this, well, let me stop there. Hold on. Let's go over to Sends because I just want to show you kind of what it's going to look like over here. This makes it a lot easier to see. So everywhere that's red, it's going to cut. And we don't want it. I mean, maybe you do in some cases. You want to cut out like in between some flowers or something on a particular image. That's fine. But if you don't want to do that, and we definitely don't want this piece just kind of hanging, what we can do is go back into our design. We're going to click on this little button here that looks like it's got, you know, a square in the middle. It's called the edit points. And then from here, we can go in and remove those pieces. So I'm going to zoom in a bit and just adjust this up. And then if we click any of these points on this piece and hit delete, we can start to delete around and remove that piece. Okay, it's super quick for me, and so that's what I like to do. So I'm going to go in here and do this one as well. One thing you want to be careful about is that this is a continuous line. So if I take out one of these, it's going to start to pull back from my original image, and it's not going to print those, and it's going to take me a while to get there, but you can see what it's doing, right? So I'm just going to Command Z or Control Z on a PC and just restore all those. So I'm holding my command and hitting the Z button, but you can do this with the Control key on a PC. All right, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to click in this one, and I'm just going to remove this one, and then this little one up here, and then this little one over here. Okay, and then that gives me an image that I want, and it's much better for my use. I'm going to go back up to select. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to make this a little smaller now so it fits on the page. And now imagine if you wanted to do a bunch of these. Again, I'm going to use the tag reference. Let's say you want to do 7 of the same tag. You can just, I use Command C. So Command and the letter C on my keyboard, and then Command and the letter V, and it duplicates. But there's also a copy and paste up here on your Silhouette. So you can copy and paste and paste and paste and paste, and then you'll have a bunch of them. Okay, so that. Another thing you can do with the Silhouette, and then I would just send it. So I would go to send, I would select my force and speed. I would let it, I would print it. Actually, yeah, we have to do that. Sorry. If you want to do print and cut, you actually have to set up your canvas for that. So I didn't do that yet. So let's do that. I'm going to go over here under page setup, and that's over here on your sidebar. And I'm going to click on this area here, which is for the registration marks, which we need for print and cut. And I'm going to turn them on. And then what I like to do is just come down here and take this out as far as I can. So in this case, it's going to let me take it out to here, and that expands out my registration marks, which are a little hard to see at this time, here and here and here. Okay, and then what I want to do is move my items into that area, right? I have to stay within that area. And I might want to make these a little bigger. I don't know that I'm actually going to print and cut these, but I just want to kind of give you a feel for what you need to do. And you want to stay within those red lines that you see going through the registration marks, okay? And I try to bring it in as much as I can, and I always try to stay away from this black dot. For some reason, if you have something really close to this black dot, even if it fits in that window, it may mess up your registration. So I like to keep it as centered as I can, and you can use this little button here to center to page, just kind of bring it into the center, and that's a safe bet for me. So then I'll go over to send, okay, and I will print this. And I will just use the print button, pick my printer settings accordingly, and that'll open up a new box on my computer. Just waiting for it to load. I have a lot of stuff going on. And then when I hit print, my printer dialog box comes up for me to choose the settings. I'm always using auto select and best, but you use whatever you find best with your printer. And then I will then come back in here once it has print, put it on my my backer there, my standard sheet that I use to feed through my Silhouette machine, and then I'll pick my paper type, my material type, and then I'll send it through. Okay, that stuff you should all know. If you don't, there's some real basic Silhouette and Cricut videos on YouTube from experts in this field. I'm just showing you what I do. All right, so that is Silhouette Studio, and if you like what you have, you probably want to save it, so go ahead and do File, Save, and save that down so you can reuse it again in the future. All right, now let's go to Cricut Design Space, and this is a little different, so let me expand this out. Here, what I want to do is I have a new project started. So let me go back home. I want to choose a new project, and then I want to go to upload. And I'm going to upload an image. I'm going to look for that image, find it, and we know it's in my download folder. And open that on here. And then I'm going to hit continue. All right. And then there's a lot of different settings here, but I kind of go with what it brings up. There is a background remover in here. I'm not fond of it. You might like it. If that's great, then you go ahead and do that. I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to do apply and continue. And then I want to go over here to flat graphic and use this one because this one is for print then cut. Use continue. And then you can name it and do all that fun stuff. And then, I don't know, we'll put it in my new collection. Oop. Give it your tags. However you, let's do that again. Sorry, too fast. Okay, open, continue, skip, apply and continue. Flat graphic, continue, and then name it. Upload. Okay, when you upload into Cricut Design Space, it's, will appear on the screen at whatever size makes sense. And then you can use their tools to resize it and things like that. And then I know that there are print then cut restrictions, which have changed since I've last been really active inside of Cricut Design Space. So Excuse my lack of knowledge in the size restrictions. It used to be like 9.5 by 6.5 or something like that, but it looks like they made some changes. So you'll have to play with this on your own machine and become familiar with it. But I do the same thing here. I do Command C and Command V to copy and paste it. That works in most programs. If you have a PC, it's Control C and Control V, and Control Z will undo what you did. So just some shortcuts there that help your workflow a little better. So let's do just 2 of these for now. And I have the operation as print then cut. And you can do offsets and things like that in both Silhouette and Cricut. I'm not showing you that for this. But offsets will allow you to put an offset or an inset to your image so you can print within the boundaries of the image. So maybe like a hairline inside or a hairline outside, so you can get kind of like an outer edge. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but you can look it up yourself. So offset and inset. All right, and then I'm just going to go over here to make. I'm not going to save it for this application. In this case, it wants to put it on 2 pages because of the size of the image. Again, this is how you're going to have to play with this. If you don't like the way this works, you can do things like play with the page size and resize your images. So let's hit cancel here. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just make these both a little smaller. And then we'll hit make. And now it's putting 2 on the page. So you can see this boundary is your print and cut boundary. And you know what? I'm going to go back because I just want to make sure. Print and cut, print and cut. Okay. And then make. And then you'll do the same thing here. You'll print your project, you'll put it on your mat, you'll feed it through your machine, and so on. Now, again, a Cricut is not my main use item, but there are plenty of videos on YouTube. So if you're not sure, just go ahead and do that. I do want to show you, go and find a video that works for you to figure out how to use your Cricut design space. I am not an expert in that, and that's not the purpose of this video. So something else I want to show you over in Silhouette that I'm aware of. And if this is also available in Cricut, please put something in the comments down below and let me know. But sometimes what you can do, and we'll go back over to Canva to show you this. I'm going to go back to my design, actually to my main page here, and I'm going to add, I'm going to duplicate the page. I'm just going to delete this out of the page. I'm going to go back to my uploads, and I'm going to pull this mason jar image back in, and we're going to remove the background and export it as a whole rather than cropping it. Okay, now we'll assume I fixed this, but now I'm just going to download page 2, and I'm going to call it mason jars. So I'm naming it here. And then I'm going to hit share and download, and we're going to do a PNG transparent, and I'm going to pick page 2. So I'm going to uncheck all, pick page 2, and done. Now you can download all these pages at once, but I'm only going to work with this one page. But we're going to download this, and okay, I didn't name it up here, so it's still going to tell me untitled design. So we'll change that in a sec. All right, so, oh, okay, it did save it. And now I'm going to save it in the same place. I'm going to put it in my downloads folder, and then I'm going to go back over to Silhouette, and I'm going to start a new design. So I'm going to click this plus, and I'm going back to the registration marks. I want these on. Again, I have an 8.5 by 11 page because that's what I was working with here, so it just mimicked it. And I'm going to take my inset and expand it out as far as I can. All right, now I'm going to go grab that image that I just downloaded, mason jars. Okay. And I'm just going to expand this. Oh, right, I got to copy it. All right, so when you open it, it opens it into a new file. So you can do 2 things. You can hit copy and then come over here to the one we just set up and hit paste. or you can set this page up. So you can come back into this page and turn your marks on and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to go back to this page where I copied and pasted it. And again, that copy and paste is over here. All right, and so now I want to expand this out. But let's say this is the file I have, and I don't want all of these mason jars. Let's say I just want these two on the bottom, or I want to rearrange them a little on the page. All right, so we'll start with the first option, and it looks like it's getting blurry here, but it's really not. It's just, again, a memory thing. So let's say I want to rearrange these. One thing that I have learned with Silhouette is that if I go over here to my, right now you'll see like you can't move these individually. They're all one big thing. So unless I download them individually, I don't have the ability to kind of manipulate them and move them closer to each other to use up some of this white space. So if you go over here to this erase button, you can kind of come down here and take a tiny piece off of one of these images, or in this case, I'm just going to remove this bottom. And now if we go back up here to this select button, each of these now becomes an original file or image rather that you can then move around. And so you can take up then a lot of this white space. Now you may not want to erase any part of your image. And in that case, what you can do is, or let's say I want to use all 6 of these, and I don't want to erase any part of this image. What I can do is I can use this eraser tool and just come in here and erase. Let's just do this for now, right? Okay, I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to go up to my pointer. I'm going to click on this one and delete it. I can then take this file and bring that image back in, so I can so I've opened the file again, right? I can come up here and just erase a little piece of this one, go up to the pointer, select it, delete the rest of these. Okay, because now they're all selectable. You probably have to do some cleanup here. And then I copy this one and bring it back over here and paste. Okay, so just some tricks that you can, you know, kind of use in here that work really well. And so that's a way that you can kind of manipulate these files and move them around. And I found that by accident, and I find it to be extremely useful. So I did want to share it with you. Yeah, okay. And so that is the video. And if you liked it, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me what I missed. I'm sure I missed something. And if this went a little fast, just go back, rewind, pause, watch it again. I'm sure you guys can find a lot of uses for this. But again, please be cautious of the commercial use licenses. Very important. And always check with the creator if you're unsure or you don't understand the terms of your commercial license. And do check out Creative Fabrica. They have a ton of stuff. So I know that you will love everything that they have, and I hope you'll check them out. All of the links are down below. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day or night. Bye.
In a fun junk journal dream, PJ's crafting grungy scenes. Hither and Yon, where friends all meet. Paper glue and vintage treats. Ink stained hands and scraps galore. Meeting friends as we explore. A community so warm and true. Creating together some